everyone, I'm Martin and welcome to another great edition for Astronomy for Beginners, and welcome to part 2 on the DSLR Cooling box modification. If you missed part 1, check out the link at the top to check out part 1 if you missed it. Okay, that will take you to more in depth at the start, what parts to order, and my design as well, my design plans. So again, this is part 2. This is just a follow-up of my modification so far as I proceed further on. Again, please hit the like button if you like my videos. Please support us all the way for Astronomy for Beginners. Hit the like button. Again, we're also available from a Facebook group as well, Astronomy for Beginners Facebook group. Again, the links are down below the description. All the plans, all the parts you need to build your own project are also below in the description box. And again, if you like my videos and you want to keep current to the latest updates of the future projects and reviews and anything related to astronomy, please hit the subscribe button. So again, let's proceed further on to part 2 and we'll take a closer look from here. So we're going to grab our insulation, okay, and what you're going to do, you're going to lay this across flat, okay, lay it across flat, and there are several ways you can do this. You can either measure it up on each corner of your box, alright, or you get your template, what you just made, and you can then mark out the area on your installation, draw all the way around using your pen, okay, draw all the way around, and then once you've got your template made, you can then cut it using a pair of scissors. We've got a box and we've got our thermal interior made up, okay, like so. You may notice that I've done 2 extra holes here, but this was done for my last project, okay, and it didn't quite work. But instead of buying another box and waste extra money, I basically just silica set the actual holes themselves, okay, so it stops the heat from escaping. So now I'm going to use just these 2 holes here, okay, alright, and that's going to mount from a Peltier refrigerating cooling system, okay, through there, okay. Now it doesn't really matter where you want to position it, okay. Ideally you want to position it, I mean, with this box, because this box is going to be tilted and it's pointing at the sky, I want my fan to be literally horizontal. You can use it vertical, okay, but I'm going to do it horizontal against the box. Doesn't really matter, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part, take this component apart, okay, and to do this you're going to have to unclip the fans. Now it does look a bit daunting at first, but really it's simple, okay. You just take these apart like so, they're all clipped in, okay, and you just come apart like so, okay. There's one of the fans, right, you can see where the other one is. Unclip that part, okay. They go like a little recess, alright, on there, these clips, so you just take them apart like so. So there's the radiator, and you can now get access to the bolts, okay. So you want to take these bolts out using a screwdriver, okay, and you just take them apart like so. Okay, first screw's off, flip it back round. Okay, there's your mounting bracket and your bolts. You can push these to one side. Okay, usually this can just stick on, alright, this cold side. Okay, usually if it sticks on there, right, usually sometimes you have to pull it apart, but this one's already stripped out, so this just comes straight apart. Alright, you can put the heatsink to one side. So now you can get access to the actual heatsink itself. You can see the Peltier cooler itself there. Alright, that plate. Alright, and there's like a thermal part there as well. Now, we take out the thermal pad, okay, and we'll start to feed the components, okay, through the hole, okay, through the square hole. Alright, just feed the Peltier cooler wires through. Okay, through there. Through the hole. Okay, this will take some time to do because this is quite tricky. Alright. It's also a good idea to polish your copper plate, okay, polish that from the inside and out. Alright, alright, and we're also going to feed that through. But first we're going to feed the thermal insulation first. Then we're going to slide in the plate. Again, this is tricky, takes some time, but once you get it right, it'll be a good job. So take out the necessary bits you need to do. So feed that through here. Okay. Okay, that will slide in there, like so. And then I'm going to install my fans. Alright. I'm going to install my fans. Don't forget, one goes one way. So this is the input, this is the intake one. So that will clip on the side. And this one will clip on. Alright, this is the exhaust, so this is on that side, okay, and that will clip on that side as well. Okay, so I'm going to refit that. Right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it together, nice and easy. And because of the complexity, is that I can't reach very well, alright, because the camera is in the way. So what I'll do is I'll stop this shot and I'll show you from another clip. So as you can see in here, I've fed all the wires in that hole, that 8mm hole right in the fore corner. So I've fed all the wires through for the fan, the Peltier cooler and the internal fan as well, all the way through into this hole. Okay, I don't want too many wires exposed. It really depends on your design, whether you want to have your wires to be fed from the outside. If you do, it just makes it a little bit easier to install, but for me, I just want the wires to be all tucked in as much as possible, so I've got no exposed wires. You'll notice I haven't put my fans in place. Okay, they're all, and what I do is once I fit the installation through here and the copper plate inside, once it's all fit together, The Peltier cooler is already fixed in place. Once the installation's in and the copper plate's inside there, this will get bolted in. In between there, there'll be my copper plate here that will go inside there. Alright, with cooler paste in there, as you've just seen. Okay, this will get bolted in, alright, and fixed together. Alright, this will take some time to get it right, but once it's fixed, the whole unit's already assembled. So now you can see, got my cables fed through the hole at the bottom there. I've got my 40mm by 40mm 3mm thick plate in between there. Okay, so when the Peltier plate will sit here, okay, like so. Don't forget, I have applied some cooler paste in between that plate and there, as you can just see, my copper lining and my insulation is installed. So now what we're going to do is we're going to feed these bolts through here with the bracket, okay, tighten it up, okay, and then rejig everything else. So now I tighten up the M4 bolts, okay, using a screwdriver, and I put a washer and nut on each side using my ratchet and socket, okay, to tighten them up. And now what we're going to do is, because now this is tightened up, we can now place the fans back onto the radiator. We've got all the fans secured, clipped them in. You may wish to remove that if you wish. This is the like a thermal rubber seal, okay. But what it does is I've left it on so it can provide a bit of dampening effect, alright, from the fans, okay, so you don't want vibrations, so I just left that on. All the wires have now fed through the hole and now extracted out. Also, the temperature sensor is also fed through here, okay, there it is, there's the cable, okay, so the temperature sensor is there. And I've secured some additional screws, okay, either side to just give a bit more security, and the screw here to fix it onto the other side. Alright, so that's nice and secure. That is the whole setup ready to go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rewire all these external cables, okay, onto my temperature control unit. So what I've done now, I've rewired the circuit. As you can see, it looks quite daunting. It looks like a spaghetti junction. Before I thread all the cables and all that, I put on the temperature control box, screwed it in first, and then I fed through all the cables straight through. Now, as you can see, as described on my last video guide on the DSLR cooling modification, this one is exactly the same circuit, okay. Again, as you go through like K0 is where the positive lead of the Peltier cooler, okay, this lead here. You have the ground. Again, the ground shares the external power and the Peltier negative lead. The positive 12 here is where it's connected to the connection port, the power port of my adapter. 12 volt supply runs through there. It also is a bridge wire across to K10. Okay, so that runs through that. As we look further down, I connected another junction box here so that my 12 volt supply runs through there, and all my fans. As you can see, all my fans are all connected to a twin coupler, which is similar to this. Okay, there's my twin coupler. Okay, and I just basically with this fan twin coupler, cut it down so I can able to connect all my fans in these twin couplers. Then it runs off into another junction box, okay, where my positive fans of my positive lead of my fans run through a single cable that runs into that junction box. And then same here with this part here, the negative lead of my fans also run across there, and it all runs into the main part there. So it is the same circuit, just a little bit more wiring. Again, if you're pretty stuck, refer to my other video guide, which clearly shows this just a tad better than this, okay, but it's exactly the same circuit. Right, it's just what I've done is incorporated all these leads into one for the fans. Right, the fans can be a bit confusing, but that's exactly how it is. Right, it's the same circuit throughout. Again, if you here it is, K0 is where the Peltier positive lead connects. K10 is just an external wire which is bridged across along the 12 volt supply, which where my fans and my positive on the port here, okay, is connected to, and the ground is where the negative lead for on my negative port of my power lead, as well as my fans and as well as my Peltier cooler. And that is the circuit. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we'll carefully put all the wiring together, and again, same as the setup from my last video on my DSLR modification, we put on these brass step thread inserts, okay, and then we're going to line up the buttons here on this cover, fix it together, and then we're going to put everything inside the box there. Okay, so keep it a nice contained sealed unit. So we've now got the control box on the temperature controller all secured, all the buttons are now working. Okay, it's all looking pretty impressive already. I just want to show you this. This is the lid, and what I've done is I cut out using a Dremel, or you can use just mark out the area a square, okay, using a Dremel or using the drill, and then cut along with a hacksaw blade and all that to cut out and then smooth out a square. And then with that is I quickly glued out some perspex over a perspex sheet over the edge, glued it down, and then I used the insulation again, cut it into shape, glued it down, and that forms my lid. Okay, the marking out really depends on your camera. So what I did initially was just to put the camera inside, and then using my ruler mark out where the camera screen is going to be. Now this one is for my 600D. Alright, it's going to show you the 600D, but it also can fit the 1100D. Okay, it just because it's a smaller screen, you're not going to get perfect size. So as you fit it on there, you may see some of the buttons slightly exposed. Okay, but that's not to worry. Alright, the main purpose is to, as long as you can see the screen and it's centered, that's fine. So that is the lid. So what I'm going to do is we're going to connect the camera onto the cooling box, but first what you do, you get the PSU, DSLR PSU cable, slot it into the battery compartment like so. Now the good thing about this is you can now install the temperature sensor inside the camera now. So you feed it through inside the box, okay, close it down, like so. Now as you can see, you need a T-ring. Now you can either fit it with a T-ring or not, depends on your application. But first we need to install our quick release cable inside here. So that's the only wires you now require to connect. So we got the PSU cable, okay, that's for external power, our quick release, and the temperature sensor from the cooling modification is installed. You then tilt it to one side, slot the camera inside the box. You see where I've made some holes, okay? We connect the PSU cable through that one and the quick release through that one. We flip it round first, then we install our photo reducer or whatever nose piece we have, okay? So we install the photo reducer or your 2-inch adapter, okay, tighten it up. Then we install about 1.25 inch bolt through here. And first, if it doesn't go in, slightly slacken the nose piece slightly. Don't forget it is a relatively tight fit. Then tighten up the 1/4 inch bolt, okay. Once tight, not too tight, just reasonable tight. So now we've got the cable secured like so. We can then open up the screen like so. Still use the blank off cover for your viewfinder to stop any stray light, okay. That'll cover that up. So just remember, when you're putting the lid on, make sure you put your on switch on your camera. Alright, once your on switch is on, you can actually operate the camera. If we plug in the supply of the camera with the cover off, so you can still adjust the controls. Just remember to put it on the switch position. You can set your ISO at the back, alright, and set all your stuff you need, okay. So that's that all assembled up. Again, there's plenty of room, alright, for the fan and all that sort of thing, and you can also put in a desiccant inside between there, alright, to try and minimize the frosting. And then what we're going to do is we're going to install the lid like so, and we're going to place our screws on each part. I will modify these into thumb screws, alright, so they'll be nice and so they'll be easier to attach, but I'm just going to use these normal screws for the time being, but I will make my own 3.5mm screws. Alright, okay, tighten up so you can't tighten them anymore. Don't need to be over tightened, just enough to seal the box. Okay, that is now installed. We now connect the PSU for the camera. So that's the camera power on. And what we're going to do now is, with the camera now powered up, we are going to connect the cooling modification. Connect it to the side, And now our cooler is activated, so we set it 50 degrees, okay, and then just allow it to just cool down the camera. So now we're going to do some series of tests, and we're going to begin, we're going to test it out for its performance, see how it performs, and we'll take it from there. So I left the cooling box running for about an hour before I switch on the camera and all that. I'm just going to quickly check. So wow, that's quite a drop in temperature. So 7.7 and 21 degrees 0.4 ambient temperature. That's pretty impressive. So it's just around about -13, I think, if I do my calculations right, but that is really good results. So now what I'm going to do, because this has been running for about an hour, I'm going to take off the lid, set the camera to ISO 1600 with 5 minutes exposure, and with the cap on, okay, I'm going to take a dark frame. What we're doing is, while we take dark frames, is to measure the amount of noise in your images. So I'm going to take one with 5 minutes exposure and then a 10-minute exposure, and then we're going to compare the results and see what we get. So, as you can see from the images, with those dark frames, you can really see the improvements from an uncooled and the cooled DSLR camera. Again, what a fantastic project. Please feel free to undertake this project. Click on the links below, check those links out, okay, to order your parts today, and please feel free to undertake this project. Fantastic results there. So, okay, these are not ideal conditions. Because it's raining outside, I can't really test it outside, but you will get better cooling once it's outside. The whole idea of this is to show you how good it is to cool in a warm room, and you can see massive differences within the images from even indoors. So from that point, is a dramatic improvement. There are other things and I need to improve on, so look forward to part 3. It's coming soon, where I'll modify this even further and help to improve on this DSLR cooling project and get the best out of it. So far, really happy results. Again, if you like my videos, please hit the like button, okay, with your support. Again, we're also available for Facebook group, okay, please check that group out. And again, if you like my videos, please feel free to subscribe onto my channel and look forward for some brand new videos coming out soon. So again, look forward to part 3, and thanks again, thanks for watching, and clear skies to you all.